it's Kimberly Keller. Check out my dogs. They're not my dogs. They're Maggie Johnson's dogs. Don't tell. She's giving it as a prize. So don't tell. But look, I'm drawing her dogs for her. And this is the picture of the dogs. I've done some of her animals before, and she asked me to do it again. This morning I did this with my maybe 7+ with Zoom. I'm learning to Zoom. I know. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I did it, and I'm going to do another Zoom at 1 o'clock. So if you are on my Facebook and you want to join me for the 1 o'clock Zoom session, do that. But I wanted to work on this. I wanted to tell you, when I got home and I started drawing these dogs, by the way, I'm sitting like this because this is, my situation that I'm in. But I applied for some grants to see if I could get a better setup with camera and stuff. Maybe I'll get those grants. Who knows? I don't know. But until then, we just have to do it, deal with it, because that's what we're doing is we're dealing with it. So anyway, I got home and all I had at my house is a number 2 pencil, like the kind you do math with. And so I drew these dogs with a number 2 pencil, and they look like that. And they're not bad. The other one that I showed you earlier was with a Sharpie. They're not bad, but what I want to talk to you about is how to get rid of tonal anemia. Tonal anemia, somebody made that word up. I don't know who it was. I can't remember. Maybe it was me. I've been saying it for a long, long time. But tonal anemia is when you get everything kind of that same color or that same value, that same shade. Let me go this way. Yeah. And so this is done with just a math pencil, just the number 2. And so I drug out my other pencils. Oh, goody, this one is broken. That's a special day. Toss it. And some things called tortillions I want to work on. And I want to work on this with you for just a few minutes before the next Zoom class, just so you can see how to get rid of tonal anemia. Tonal anemia, one value. This is almost all in the middle value. It doesn't have any darks and lights. As you see, this particular dog has a lot of dark to him. Okay? The background is dark too. I'm going to separate the dark door from the dog. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a darker pencil. A number 6, a number 5, 6, and a 4. And then I'm going to also use these tortillions. So I've kind of got my dog looked at here through my number 2 pencil. You can get pencils like these. By the way, I ordered some supplies yesterday at Michael's, and I'm going to go drive through and pick them up. So, that'll be an experience today. I've got my 6B out, and the first thing I'm going to do is go in here. And if you know anything about pencils, the bigger the number, the darker they get. And I'm going to darken in some of these places that are really, really dark. That's going to help me get rid of tonal anemia, meaning it's just got one value all the way through. Now that dog that I'm drawing here is black, has a lot of black on him. So I will be using this darker pencil to bring him in. And I want to stress that a pencil like this is going to use less pressing. It's going to be easier to move it. This dog is fuzzy. Short-haired dogs, I would use more tortillion, but this dog has a lot of fuzz to him. Look how dark that already got from him. I want to darken in his eyes a little bit more. And just by adding that next layer a little bit darker in here, even pressing a little harder up in this area, if you do that, you get just a little bit more depth to your dog. Do you see the difference? I think you do. I'm coming in here because I want that dog to be darker. He's got black on him. So I'm going to use this black. We always think, oh no, what if I get too dark? And we kind of stop before we get the depth of the drawing. That's what this kneaded eraser is for. Kneaded eraser looks like silly putty. And it's very therapeutic. Oh, it is therapeutic. And so you've got this thing here. And so I'm putting that in. And I'm adding some of this darker color. The way you hold your pencil is important too. Some artists hold it like this. My professor at Southwestern used to say, you are not drawing, you are rendering. He said you should not call it drawing, but rendering. You are rendering a photo. You are rendering a composition. I wonder if he's still around. Patrick Veerkamp was his name. I know that Mary Visser is. At least I think. She was last time I was there, about 3 years ago. I'm coming down here to this darker part into here, and I'm checking. Hey, Sylvia! Yay, thank you for looking in on me today. Good to reconnect through Facebook. Sylvia and I went to school together. Even elementary, because, you know, I've been here like 6-7 million years. Right, Sylvia? Oh, Lord. All right, now just check and see how much darker that looks to this one. That dog looks a little bit better. Now, I would take my tortillon. Where did they go? Tortillon is just a rolled up little piece of paper, and I can use this to make that shadow in here for the brown part of that dog. He's got like a coffee color. Forgot to ask her the name of this little dude. But I can smooth those pieces out. I can change the value just a little bit. See, now here it's just a little bit lighter. It's not white. But by using my tortillon to smooth that in, I settled that white down. I can settle down a little bit of that around his nose. Now his nose is black, right? So we need to go back in there, but it's not as black as these holes. I'm going to burnish these holes a little bit. We did that in my class this morning with the other kids, with the 7-year-olds. I said, you know, you make it look like a pig nose at first. They just do that. And then you've got to come in here. And I'm changing my pencil back to my 6B because I can get in there a little better with this one. And I'm coming right up to the edge. That looks better, doesn't it? I like it. I like it. So now I'm going to move on up here into this part of the dog. And I'm watching my clock. again, I just wanted you to see how you can get rid of tonal anemia. And again, tonal anemia is what happens when you just have too much of the same value, a value scale. Those of you that are artists know that, but a value scale is how light or how dark you can make your drawing. I think I might have got a little too dark in that area, so I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to go ahead and capture this part of the dog. Look how he comes to life. Isn't that cool? I just love when they come to life. A lot of folks say, I can't draw like that. Well, you know, I think you probably can. Does it take a little time? Yeah. Initially, when I was first drawing, I don't think I was as good. But the only way to get better at something, just gonna say it, is to practice. Now, I'm going to go in here on his eye and really press in because he's got the most beautiful eyeliner here. And he's got the blackest dot in the center. Look how that eye's popping out. Oh, I'm digging that. This one is drawn just like it looks, but I may have to go back in there and capture it a little bit more. Now, I was saying that this space got a little too dark. So I'm going to take a little roll up piece of kneaded eraser, and I'm going to fill in. See how he has the two eyebrows right there? Can y'all see those eyebrows right there? So what I'm going to do is use my kneaded eraser, and I'm going to press, give it some little wiggle, and when I peel it off, it should lighten it up a little bit. And so I can erase and lighten that space again. You could use a regular eraser. You know, we have to deal with what we've got. I sometimes erase more than I think I need to erase, and then I go back and rework it. You have to be careful, though, because your paper has a tooth to it. Excuse me. And if you're not too careful, you'll just work it till it tears. That looks better. Now I'm going to come back up in here. See, I went too high. And so then I'm going to just use my pencil in that space. I can go back and use a H pencil a little later and bring that in. This is white, this is not. So I use my tortillon to kind of change that value just a little bit. This drawing is probably about 2 hours away from being done. Sometimes we sketch pretty quick, and then later on we go, oh, I need to do that some more. I always say you just get back in there. Just get back in there. I'm finding the light brown, that mocha color that's on the dog. I'm going to zing up in here just a little bit. Did y'all see him from the beginning? This will go on my Facebook tonight so you can see some of that. There's his little hoof. Doop, 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 doop. And so the doop, 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 you can't leave it out because it's part of the dog. Just don't make it obvious, if that makes sense. See, this is dark. This is black back in here. This is black here, but this is not black. So I have to get my dark pencil back out. And don't be afraid to go to the dark side. We have cookies on the dark side. Oreos and milk on the dark side. That's what we need, Oreos and milk. Toenails. Man, toenail trimmers. Now this part of the dog, he's sitting, he has a little bit of a tummy, and he's sitting on top of his, it's kind of landing on his foot. I still want this foot to be the one that's up in the front. I'll come in and add some of these little hairs. I don't know if you can see it in the photo. That didn't work like a plan, did it? Oh, there it is. And so, and yeah, I have the little dog to work on too, but working on this big one, you see how it's coming along. I can't decide whether I want to put that little Christmas ribbon in there or just kind of go with his chain. I can't decide. So I'm coming in again. He's got this hair back here that's darker. Putting in a little more. I'm going to finish down his arm before I give up and go try to do the zoom. If you want to zoom with me, I don't know how Shada did it. I'll have to learn, but she put a link on my Facebooks. So if you want to just join in, if you've never done it before, well, join the party, because I don't know either. But, you know, this morning with the kiddos went really well, or from my point of view. And, oh, it was so good to see them. You know, we learn things. I think it's apropos that I'm drawing a dog and I say we can teach a new dog new tricks. I quit teaching. One of the reasons is I didn't want to do everything online. Well, I guess I could go back to teaching in the classroom, because apparently I can do it. I sold myself short. It's amazing what you can do if you have to. Right, Mom? Wonder if my mom's watching. Probably not. She is with Ace, my granddog. I did get to see my grandbaby for a little bit. About ready to pop a lid because I can't see her right now again. And so I don't want to take the chance of anything, so we're going to just wait. Hey, do you see that line? I got to get rid of that line. That line is a disaster. Anytime you get something that looks like it's got a line in it, you have to get rid of that. And the way to get rid of that is get rid of that tonal anemia is through shading, blending. Get right up to it. Don't let that line happen. There's a little bit of some shadowed in this area. So I use just that tortilla, and I'm going to come in with my H, which is very pointy. There's almost 3 steps to every drawing. And one of the steps to the drawing is to be sure and go back and fill in your details. You draw it, then you shade it, then you go back and you pull those same things in again. and you make some highlights. Hey, I had fun doing this part. I am thinking that it's pretty close to my time for my 1 o'clock. Oh, I have 5 minutes. Good. Then I'll just do this last little part. When I'm putting in the shadows and I'm kind of smoothing in, again, remember, if I've got a part that the dog is black, I'm going to use black. I'm going to go to the dark side because we have cookies. I feel like that's dark in there too. Do you feel like it? Yeah, it feels like it. And so I have to get in there and not be afraid of that dark. Don't be afraid of that black. This is pretty dark in here. Things that get dark recede. We push it back. We want to push back that part of the dog. I think this might be his tail. I'm going to have to ask if I see Maggie and say, does he have a tail? Because I don't know. Looks like an Australian Shepherd of some sort. That's too bold right there. So how do you do that? You calm it down with this tortillon. Some people call them stumps. Some people call them tortillons. I grew up calling it a tortillon, so that's what I call it. You do you. Please put that down. Write that down. You do you. Okay? You just do you. So much better. I'm going to grab the toenails. This toenail on this side is white, but I'm going to give it a little bit of color. And then I might come back in there later and make it less. So there's my dog-ish. I probably see, and like I said, I'd spend some more time playing in here, getting the shadows underneath. But if you saw it before, you realize that math pencil is good for doing math, but you need a little bit darker one to get into the next layer, I think. And hey, way in Germany. Hi, Leah. Yay. And Kristen, yay! Look at y'all. Thank you for watching. That is so fun. I love it. All right, there she is. I will talk to you soon. Check in at 1 o'clock and let's do a Zoom.